Tourists appear to have been the target of terrorists in Egypt, but they escaped harm at a popular spot.
Egyptian police say they foiled a terror attack this morning in the southern city of Luxor at the famed Karnak Temple, one of the country's top tourist attractions. At least one militant blew himself up at the entrance to the temple. Police shot 2 other attackers. The health ministry says no tourists were hurt. 5 Egyptians were wounded. This is the first terrorist attack in Luxor since 1997, when militants slaughtered 60 tourists in an ancient temple. Alex Ortiz, CBS News, Cairo.
A tourism official says the incident is a wake-up call for the government to tighten security. A Vermont man got out of jury duty by showing up at court wearing a black and white striped prisoner costume. James Lowe got a talking to from a judge who said he could have been found in contempt of court. Lowe says the instructions to the jurors mentioned there were no clothing restrictions. Steve Kathan, CBS News.
This is Charles Osgood. What puts your identity at risk? Did you swipe your debit card at a gas station? Identity thieves can place skimming devices on the payment terminals. Do you use public Wi-Fi? Identity thieves have been known to set up shop around Wi-Fi hotspots, hoping to cash in on your personal information. Do you do any online banking or go to the doctor? Banks and health insurers can be susceptible to breaches of your private information. So get identity theft protection with LifeLock Ultimate Plus. It helps protect your Social Security number, your bank and retirement accounts, your credit cards, even the equity in your home. Sure, no one can prevent all identity theft or monitor transactions at every business, but you only have one identity. Protect it with the best. Enroll in LifeLock in minutes, and your protection starts right away. Just call LifeLock at 800-838-8040 or visit lifelock.com and use my last name Osgood to save 10% on your membership. That's 800-838-8040 and mention Osgood. 800-838-8040.
Active Computers and Electronics in Chesapeake handles it all and then some. They can fix your laptop, take care of motherboards, fix DC jacks, broken LCD screens, replace damaged plastic, and hinge replacement. They also handle viruses, slow computers, hard drive data recovery, battery replacement, can back up data, and upgrade memory. Call 485-8878 and visit Active Computers and Electronics at 2973 South Military Highway in Chesapeake today.
Excuse me, Lips. This is the brain. A little less smacking would be nice.
It's this Rita's Italian Ice. I can't stop smiling. You must really like me.
Settle down. Their signature Italian Ice is an outrageously delicious explosion of tastiness made fresh every day with real fruit. There's nothing else like it in the world.
Ooh, it is so good. I could kiss you right now.
Fortunately, that's physically impossible.
Visit 12286 Warwick Boulevard in Newport News and 2328 West Mercury Boulevard in Hampton for Rita's.
The place for authentic Indian food is the India Palace. They feature authentic Indian cuisine, have a party hall, and do catering and banquets. Open daily for lunch and dinner, they showcase an excellent lunch buffet at their Chesapeake and Virginia Beach locations. Visit their 2 locations at 1437 Sam's Drive in Chesapeake off of Battlefield Boulevard and 5600 Virginia Beach Boulevard in Virginia Beach, and online at IndiaPalaceVB.com. On Facebook, look for India Palace Virginia Beach and India Palace Bar and Grill. Dine at the India Palace today.
Chesapeake, Virginia, 1650 AM WHKT presents Sports Scene. Sports Scene features local, regional, and nationally acclaimed guests and excellent interviews. Follow Sports Scene on Twitter at Greg Bick and at GJBTV.com. Now here is Greg Bicouvaris.
And thank you very much, Ken Johnson. Glad you're with us on this Hump Day, Wednesday, June 10th, 2015. Greg Bicouvaris, glad you're with us on Sports Scene on the radio. News Talk 1650 AM, tunein.com. Type in WHKT on your phone or your computer. You can subscribe for free. Also go to GJBTV.com. Hit the YouTube link for archive shows. This is your home for CBS News. Tell your friends about 1650 on Facebook. Twitter, gjbtv.com. You'll see all the 4 Twitter handles: Greg Bick, Sports Highlight, GJBTV, HROnlineMall.com. Thank you to our military. Great guest lineup featuring Dr. Wood Selig, the athletic director at Old Dominion University, coming up in moments. Sponsors on gjbtv.com, marketplace sponsors, as well as our guest lineup presented by Hampton Roads OnlineMall.com. Simply browse, shop, and visit. Click the image on any marketplace page, and it'll take you to the website. So easy, folks. A lot of tourists listening too. Hampton Roads OnlineMall.com. Decide what you need today. Phone line as well, presented by Hilton Tavern and Newport News. I want to thank our sponsors this month in June. Of course, next week we got Mi Hogar coming up, very good Mexican restaurant. Active Computers, Rita's, Hilton Tavern, Newcastle, Friendly Mover, Crawl Space Door, Soprano, India Palace. Ken Johnson knows those by heart. He's the best. Maryland UVA baseball and ESPNU, very, very nice time as well. I want to thank our great sponsors, MiCasitaMexican.com with 2 locations in Virginia Beach, Zaxby's.com, indescribably good food for over 25 years, BlueSushiCafe.com as well. Go by and see Chris Green up in the Denby section on Jefferson Avenue. In fact, he's one of the featured guests on Sports Highlights on NNPSTV.com this month with the Norfolk Tides. Again, this is Sports Scene on the radio, 1650 AM, tunein.com. Type in WHKT. We'll be back after these messages.
Excuse me, Lips. This is the brain. A little less smacking would be nice.
It's this Rita's Italian Ice. I can't stop smiling. You must really like me.
Settle down. Their signature Italian ice is an outrageously delicious explosion of tastiness made fresh every day with real fruit. There's nothing else like it in the world.
Ooh, it is so good. I could kiss you right now.
Fortunately, that's physically impossible.
Visit 12286 Warwick Boulevard in Newport News and 2328 West Mercury Boulevard in Hampton for Rita's.
Nor'easter season is here, so don't get all wet. Protect your house. Call Crawl Space Door Systems at 363-0005. Reduce your flood insurance, reduce the threat of mold and insects, and save energy. Crawl Space Doors, air vents, flood vents, vent covers, and fans can help you stay dry or get you dry quickly. Contact Crawl Space Doors for more information at 363-0005 or online at crawlspacedores.com. Stay dry, my friends.
For over 25 years, people have counted on one name for all their residential and commercial moving needs: a friendly and affordable mover. No job is too big or too small, and they will assist you with your best interest in mind. Always providing free estimates, a friendly and affordable mover is a company you can count on. Have peace of mind on your next move with a friendly and affordable mover. Call 689-0935 or log on to lovemymover.com. Now back to Greg Bicouvaris and Sports Scene in the Hampton Roads Online Mall.com studio.
All right, back live with you on the radio, News Talk 1650, your home for the Admirals and Hampton Roads, and CBS News 1212. Sports Scene every Wednesday, 12 to 1 at a convenient hour during the lunch hour right here in Hampton Roads. Also, tunein.com. Type in WHKT to listen on your phone or your computer anywhere. Greg Bicouvaris along here with Ken Johnson, our featured guest. We've had him on sports shows before on radio and TV as well that I had a chance to interview Wood several times when I worked at the game, too. Let's welcome Dr. Wood Selig back here to WHKT. How are you, Wood?
I'm doing great, Greg. How are you?
Very good, my friend. Of course, just getting the summer break started, but let's go ahead and before we talk about the football and basketball, let's give a recap on the spring sports. Another excellent season by the baseball team as well.
Yeah, we're really pleased. We wrapped up our year, our men and women's, our co-ed sailing, our women's sailing. They were both ranked in the top 15, top 10 in the country. They were the last sports that we had competing. Our baseball team had 7 wins versus top 25 ranked programs, including 2 wins over UVA, and UVA is going to the College World Series here later this week. So it was an incredibly successful year. We set the record for college baseball attendance in the Commonwealth of Virginia with our game against Virginia in late April. We had over 6,500 attend that college baseball game, which set a new record for attendance for college baseball in Virginia. So spring sports did exceptionally well. and just kind of followed on the heels of the success that we had both winter and fall.
And I guess the key now is to go to the next level and make the NCAA tournament. I was in Charlottesville working for ESPNU Friday and Saturday. What a great atmosphere. You used to work at Virginia as well. That they take their baseball very serious, and the fact that Old Dominion did beat them is a feather in the cap for the Monarchs.
Yeah, we were really hoping. We went to the NCAA's a year ago, and we were hoping that we would continue that streak this year. But a variety of factors came into play. Most important, I think, was the weather. We had a stretch when college baseball starts February 14, 15. Sure. So you're starting mid-February, which is a very unusual time to be out on the field. And we had 30 consecutive days with snow and ice and rain where our players did not get out on the field after the season had already started. So it was very disruptive. I can't think of another sport throughout the year where you would have your season begin and then you'd have 30 days, a month, where you basically take it off and then start it over again. So very, very challenging, but our team performed very well against some of the best teams in the country, and we're really excited about next year.
Yeah, and talking to Dr. Wood Selig right here on Sports Scene on News Talk 1650. And Wood, you talk about that too, because really that was still the heart of the basketball team. Both teams made the postseason in the NIT for basketball. In baseball, like you said, they start so early. Let me say this. I was hearing a lot of this when I was in Charlottesville over the weekend. Sometimes parents are still concerned why their kids are playing baseball a month after some of the seniors graduate from college. They're still staying on campus, and that kind of cuts into their summer break, going to the beach, getting a job, whatever. But I guess at the same time, the devil's advocate is you're in the NCAA tournament, but at the same time, it's kind of strange too when you think about it, Wood, to the average fan out there, that school is over in May, yet these kids are still playing a collegiate sport after the season, kind of.
Well, specific to baseball, there is a move that is being discussed nationally that would call for college baseball to perhaps not start until maybe March or April, and you would start the season late in the spring semester, and you would just know that you're going to keep your kids throughout the summer in class, and you'd play college baseball that would kind of mirror the minor league and the major league baseball schedule, and you'd be playing on college campuses throughout the summer with your College World Series perhaps in August. So, it makes a lot of sense, because especially for teams up north or even teams in the Midwest, when you're starting baseball February 15, you don't have a very good chance to get at least a third, if not a half of your season in with decent weather. And most of your kids, a lot of the kids today are, they're not going to the beach for the summer. They're not getting jobs for the summer. They're either going to summer school or they're in a wooden bat league in baseball in particular. So, you wouldn't be doing anything different than what they would be doing anyway during the summer. It's just you'd be playing the season under more ideal circumstances, maybe drawing better crowd, generating better revenue, and giving your student athletes a better experience. So that's a conversation that's going on nationally. I'm not sure where with college baseball it may wind up, but it certainly deserves more conversation.
Talking to Dr. Wood Selig right here on Sports Scene. Greg Bicouvaris, glad you're with us live right here on the radio at 1217, also on your tunein.com on your app. Type in WHKT, tell your friends. Well, let's talk about basketball before we talk about the football season coming up. 27-8 for Jeff Jones, 21-13 for Karen Barefoot. Two great jobs. And I tell you, I saw you all three of those televised games in March as well during the NIT. I know you did not make the NCAA tournament, but Wood, the atmosphere at the TED for the ESPN3, ESPNU, and ESPN2 games was unbelievable.
Yeah, that was really quite a run. Remarkable to go to Madison Square Garden, New York, the Final Four of the NIT. And a lot of people asked, what would have been better? Would have been better to make the NCAA and maybe last a round or two, or have a nice run and get to New York and go to the Final Four of the NIT. The initial exposure probably was not as great as being selected for the NCAA and being on national TV for the NCAA. But the fact that we were still still relevant into late March, early April, when very few teams, maybe 8 teams were remaining in men's college basketball. The fact we got to play, practice that long into the season was a real plus. And I think for our fans, we finished the season undefeated in the TED. We have a 24-game home winning streak. We sold over 100 brand new season tickets since we finished the season. So we've reignited a really good fan base. We had great support as we wound the season down, and I think we're just going to carry that forward. We opened the season on November 13 on the men's basketball side against Niagara, and that's one of the things Coach Jones is asking all of our fans. If you remember how the atmosphere and the energy was in the TED when we played Murray State, Trey Freeman banks that last-second shot in to send us to New York in the Final Four. We want to keep that momentum. We want to make sure that when we play Niagara November 13 this fall, that we have the same energy, the same sellout, the same excitement that we had the final game of the NIT. When people ask what can they do to help ODU men's basketball, that's the number one thing. Be there and bring some friends and spread the word. So we have a lot of momentum, had some great recruits come in, both transfer as well as those who might have been redshirting or sitting after transferring. So I really think we're going to be in good position to continue to have success that we've seen under Coach Jeff Jones, who's done a remarkable job taking over a program when he started that had won 5 games the year previous and then won 18, and then, as you said, this year won 27. So, he's a 22-win improvement in his 2 seasons here at ODU. I don't think there are many other coaches in the country who can claim that kind of success in their first 2 years at a new job.
I think, Wood, that was the best hire I've seen an athletic director do in this state, period, the last 5 years. That was just a great hire. He is a winner. He's a basketball junkie, and people are going to know because they've seen documents online. How is Jeff's health today?
Yeah, no, I was at Jeff's house just a couple days ago. We had lunch. I was there for several hours just catching up on both himself as well as work, and he's got great spirits. The doctor said the surgery could not have gone any better. He had surgery. He had a prostate cancer, and so they removed his prostate about 8 or 9 days ago, and he's still recuperating and getting stronger, and will probably be out for another week or two. But I tell you, his attitude is great. He's chomping at the bit to get back, and we're just really fortunate to have Coach Jones here at ODU, and we wish him speedy recovery. And he's received great support from people throughout the community, so that's been very helpful for him as he continues to recover from surgery.
And speaking of beating UVA, Karen Barefoot, her team beat Virginia as well in the NIT.
Yeah, I tell you, our women's basketball team had another great year. 21 wins. It was the most number of wins that we've had in Karen's 4 years, and went postseason play and had a really good finish to the season and a strong run in Conference USA. So I like where we are. I like the recruits that we're bringing in. I think we're going to strengthen our non-conference schedule, which would be good. From bringing in some more national and highly ranked teams. I think that's going to be important for us. But really pleased with where we are and the type of sport that we get throughout the community for our women's basketball program.
Talking to Dr. Wood Selig right here on Sports Scene. Now, you mentioned season tickets for basketball. How about for football? There was a time there was a waiting list. You remember the first several years going back into year one, there was a waiting list, and, it was hard to get tickets. Is it still as difficult to get tickets for the average fan out there? What is the status on tickets?
Yeah, what we realized was people on the waiting list were there because we went to the waiting list first to sell any of the visiting team allocation tickets that came back unsold from the visiting team. We went first to the wait list. So those folks figured it out very quickly that if I put my name on the wait list, I might not really want to buy season tickets, but I want to get a couple games that I want to go to. I'll be the first one called if there are single game tickets available. So we still have we've worked our way through our wait list. Every year we sell 15,000 season tickets. Every year you have about 7 to 8% attrition. People move, they lose their job, they lose interest, they die. So tickets come open. So we have every year about 1,500 season tickets that are available. And right now we have a little less than 1,000 season tickets that are available. Some good sideline seats, some end zone seats. So the time is now for those folks who are looking to get ODU football season tickets. We have 7 home games this year, which is the most schools would ever hope to have. You play 12 games each year. You play 8 conference games, 4 and 4, so 4 home, 4 away. So to have 7 home games, that means you have, of your 4 non-conference games, you have 3 of them at home. And we go to Eastern Michigan, but our other 3 non-conference games are North Carolina State out of the ACC. It'll be the first time an ACC team has come here to play Old Dominion. So we have North Carolina State, we have Appalachian State, and we have Norfolk State. So we have 3 of those non-conference games plus 4 conference games. Great schedule. We're going to be taking on some of the best in Conference USA at home as well. So it's a 7-game schedule. We have a little less than 1,000 tickets left, so it's a great chance for those who've wondered how they might get access to ODU football. The time is now.
Talking to Dr. Wood Selig right here on Sports Scene. Greg Bicouvaris, glad you're with us at 12:23 for up until about 12:30 or so. And Wood, you talk about the schedule and so forth. I remember you telling me a couple of years ago, even 2014 with the Division I would be a work in progress. And still, Bobby came through at 6-6. Nobody expected that after really struggling middle of the year and so forth. And, as far as the schedule early on, I've looked at Conference USA and looked at their initial TV schedule because a lot of the ACC has their first several weeks out. Not a whole lot of national TV games for Old Dominion early. What's the status of TV for Old Dominion this year?
I think it's going to be exceptionally strong. The Conference USA has 3 various TV partners. We have Fox, we have CBS, and we have the American Sports Network.
Sure.
And the way it goes is Fox and CBS are contractually committed to being able to select a certain number of games. And after they select their games, then the American Sports Network, headquartered out of Boca Raton, they come in and they select a large number of games. Each of these platforms that we're on, whether it's Fox, CBS, or ASN, American Sports Network, will run typically anywhere from 15, 20 million to 90, 95 million homes. So I think when it's all said and done, of Old Dominion's 12 football games, we should reach or exceed double digits as far as being televised, not only regionally but many of them nationally. So I feel really good about the TV opportunities that present themselves by being a part of the Conference USA football TV package.
Oh, the atmosphere of that Friday night game last year on Fox Sports 1 was unbelievable, except for one incident. We won't talk about that, but overall it was a great atmosphere. And I know NC State pretty much turned down the opportunity to play on Friday night. What's the status of the NC State game? And probably, in my opinion, will be televised. And of course, they've got a partnership as well.
Yeah, I feel confident that our NC State game, we open up at Eastern Michigan on Saturday, September 5. That's Labor Day weekend. So we'll be away on Labor Day weekend. Then we come home for 3 straight games: Norfolk State on September 12, NC State on September 19, and Appalachian State on September 26. So I think Norfolk State, we had a chance to either get on Fox or CBS with that game, provided that it was moved from Saturday the 18th to, Saturday the 19th. They requested we move it to Friday the 18th. And I understand it. We were willing to move it. NC State felt like, hey, one of the reasons they're playing here, they have great alumni support in the area, but there's also terrific football talent that they are recruiting in the area, and they want to get their coaches out to evaluate the football talent throughout Hampton Roads. That's one of the reasons they're going to be here on Saturday the 19th. If they played that game on the 18th, Friday night, that would really defeat the purpose of their presence in Hampton Roads. They wouldn't be able to evaluate the high school football games that take place on Friday night. So they were reluctant and resistant to moving that game off of the Saturday. So as a result, CBS and Fox have both passed, but I don't doubt that ASN will pick that game up. That'll be a marquee game for the American Sports Network. I think we'll probably find our way to prime time on that particular game.
Yeah, I agree as well. And you see what ESPN's doing. They're putting a lot of games on Friday night. Virginia Tech's playing on a Friday night this year in Virginia, and I was talking to Mike Burnham, and of course it's great national TV exposure, but at the same time, the high school coaches cannot get their college visits for their high school kids on a Friday night because they're playing.
Yeah, it starts the NFL. Yeah, they go off their traditional Sundays, and they get to Thursday nights, and then they get to some Saturdays, and all of a sudden college football goes off of their traditional Saturday, and they get to some Fridays and some Thursdays. So I'm not a big fan of it. I think college football was meant to be played on Saturdays and Saturday nights, and it's great for fans and traveling long distances because you typically draw from 3, 4, 5 hours away for college football, unlike basketball where you might draw from as much as an hour or 90 minutes away. It's hard to do that for football when you're playing on a Thursday night or a Friday night. So I think it's overall it's not great for the game, but I can see from a TV standpoint the fact that you have very little clutter on those nights on a national exposure standpoint, it makes sense to try and get some marquee games and a lot of eyeballs on Thursday and Friday for college football.
I want to get a few more nuggets real quick before you got to go. Carroll Hudson, he's meant the world to Old Dominion. Sometimes he's so quiet you wouldn't even know he's in the room even. Goodness gracious, what can you say about Carroll Hudson?
Well, Carroll gave pretty much his entire professional career to ODU and ODU athletics, and he's a sports information Hall of Fame inductee. He is really a walking encyclopedia for ODU athletic information, and he will be sorely missed. He really has been just a great asset for our coaches, for our media, and he's got terrific work ethic. He's from Norfolk, and has given his entire professional career to ODU. So we're forever grateful. We're going to try and figure a way to trick him into coming back for games or coming back for events and staying involved somehow. But I can understand, he's just not into trying to do the Monday through Friday, 9 to 8 or 8 to 5, and then all the events that go on top of that. So hopefully we can still involve him in some capacity. But I tell you, there's not a classier gentleman than Carroll Hudson.
A few more things. Wood, I went to George Mason. In my opinion, it's been a disaster for them going to the Atlantic 10. They have not done well. Sure, the brand is great at the Atlantic 10 and so forth. Are you happy in hindsight that Old Dominion went to Conference USA? Because some of the fans might say, well, we don't recognize anybody from Louisiana Tech, but at the same time, you still draw well against them. It's just the conference tournaments are no longer like in convenient places like Richmond or Baltimore.
Yeah, I certainly miss the accessibility that geography allowed with the CAA. I'm sure VCU misses that. I'm sure George Mason misses that, But, the reality is VCU was moving, George Mason was moving, so the CAA was not going to be the CAA anymore. And it wasn't going to have the coziness that we enjoyed. And college landscape for athletics was shifting in general. So we had to make the move we felt was in the overall best interest of ODU and ODU athletics. And unlike VCU and George Mason, we have football, and we've got very successful football, and it's a difference maker for us and will continue to be a difference maker. So we had to think along the lines of football. And the A-10, they quite frankly told us they had really not any interest in taking a school that had football and successful football like we had, because they feared that we would be a short timer in their league and would be moving to an FBS football conference at some point. So that kind of pushed us into the evaluation of Sun Belt, Mid-American Conference, Conference USA, and we were ecstatic to get into Conference USA. Now, since we got into Conference USA, East Carolina has moved, Tulane has moved, a few schools have moved on us, but that's okay. It's I don't think it's as fluid right now as it was 2 or 3 years ago, but we got one of the last moves that could have been made. It really helped propel our football program, and we'll continue to do that on a national scale. It's been good for all of our other programs. We're playing playing a higher level of competition. We're getting much greater national exposure. It's been good in so many ways, and we've just reversed our scheduling philosophy for non-conference scheduling. I mean, all you see with basketball, baseball, you see the William and Marys, you see the George Masons, you see the VCUs, the Richmonds. We're staying local, Liberty. I mean, so we're still playing those schools. It's just not a conference game. It's a non-conference game, and they still draw well and attract a lot of fanfare, media, and a lot of chatter among families who have people within their family who went to so many of those different schools. So I think it was a move that had to be made. It was in the overall best interest, and it positions us so well for the future, whatever the future may be, that none of us truly know.
And they're fun because they're during November and December during the holidays, so people can really reminisce and and speaking of Carroll, he just sent a release. PJ Higgins has been selected in the 12th round by the Cubs, the third baseman for Old Dominion. Congratulations. Finally, Wood, what's the update on arenas for football practice facilities at the campus?
Yes, we are going to break ground probably mid-August for the Mitcham Basketball Practice Center, and then we're going to expand the L.R. Hill Football Practice Facility, probably break ground in mid to late July for that, adding a 15 to 16,000 square foot weight room and reallocating some space in our football practice facility that houses our field hockey and women's lacrosse programs. The basketball practice facility will go behind the Ted Constance Center, and both of those projects, the football expansion, the L.R. Hill, and the basketball Mitcham Practice Center, they will be about 12 to 14-month projects. So next summer, we will be finishing both of those facilities, and they'll be a great asset for all of our programs, given the components that will be within each of those facilities. And we literally start our football stadium research this week. We've hired a company called Populous. They've done a number of NFL, big-time college football and basketball venues, and they're going to come on board starting this week, and we're going to start to analyze our football stadium. Can we stay where we are? Can we somehow make SB Ballard Stadium work in a reconfigured, expanded, transformed scenario? Do we look at another site perhaps on campus that might be a better location for a new stadium? That's going to take about 5-6 months to study, and we hope to have some answers sometime toward the end of 2015, beginning of 2016 relative to our future stadium at ODU.
Yep, and it was good to see Kent Bazemore in the postseason in the NBA as well. Not quite at LeBron James level, but at least he got to the finals and looked really, really good.
Yeah, I tell you, Kent has been terrific. He's such a great ambassador for ODU basketball in the NBA, and with what he's doing, giving back to ODU with our practice facility, being visible, being visible for us, and the type of career that he's off to, playing on an outstanding Atlanta Hawks team and getting significant minutes. So really proud of Kent, and just can't wait to see his career unfold in the NBA.
Well, we look forward to football. Have a good rest of the summer. Give our best to Jeff Jones and keep up the good work, Wood. I know Coach Holland's also proud of you as well. You've done a really good job at Old Dominion, and people in this Hampton Roads area and beyond, like you said, with the internet, everybody follows the Monarchs. It's just really a lot of good stuff going on in Norfolk.
Oh, that's great. Well, thanks, Greg. I appreciate you having me on. Appreciate what you do for sports throughout the Hampton Roads community as well.
Thank you so much, Wood, and all the best. Enjoy your day.
Okay, you too.
Thank you. Okay, Dr. Wood Selig right there. And Ken, we really get some great guests here, and really it's great to be transparent to know what's going on with our local universities.
Yeah, he could have gone on for an hour.
Yes, he could have. He should have his own radio show as well. Wood right here on 1650. All right, stay tuned. We'll be back. But first, an announcement. La Familia, one of the great Portsmouth police officers, Devlin Reyes, owns this great restaurant, Taqueria y Tienda Latina, 3115 Western Branch Boulevard, not too far from here in Chesapeake. And of course, go by and see them daily. They got great tacos, tortas, burritos, as well. Authentic Mexican food from La Familia at 3115 Western Branch Boulevard. I had one of their great tacos recently. Authentic grilled beef. They got chorizo, Mexican sausage, marinated pork, chicken, slow cooked, and fried pork as well at La Familia, 3115 Western Branch Boulevard. Stay tuned. We'll be back after these messages.
Is all this wiggling absolutely necessary?
We've never been this happy. Whatever it is you're drinking up there is cooling us off all the way down here.
Now that you mention it, we happen to be enjoying a new Rita's frozen drink. Your favorite flavor of their signature Italian ice turned into an intensely flavorful frozen beverage. The perfect refreshment on a hot summer day.
More, please.
Don't be a piggy.
Haven't heard that one before.
Visit 12286 Warwick Boulevard in Newport News and 2328 West Mercury Boulevard in Hampton for Rita's.
Active Computers and Electronics in Chesapeake handles it all and then some. They can fix your laptop, take care of motherboards, fix DC jacks, broken LCD screens, replace damaged plastic, and hinge replacement. They also handle viruses, slow computers, hard drive data recovery, battery replacement, can back up data, and upgrade memory. Call 485-8878 and visit Active Computers and Electronics at 2973 South Military Highway in Chesapeake today.
The place for authentic Indian food is the India Palace. They feature authentic Indian cuisine, have a party hall, and do catering and banquets. Open daily for lunch and dinner, they showcase an excellent lunch buffet at their Chesapeake and Virginia Beach locations. Visit their 2 locations at 1437 Sam's Drive in Chesapeake off of Battlefield Boulevard and 5600 Virginia Beach Boulevard in Virginia Beach, and online at IndiaPalaceVB.com. On Facebook, look for India Palace Virginia Beach and India Palace Bar and Grill. Dine at the India Palace today.
For over 25 years, people have counted on one name for all their residential and commercial moving needs: a friendly and affordable mover. No job is too big or too small, and they will assist you with your best interest in mind. Always providing free estimates, a friendly and affordable mover is a company you can count on. Have peace of mind on your next move with a friendly and affordable mover. Call 689-0935 or log on to lovemymover.com. The place to go for U.S. rare coins is Newcastle Coins and Collectibles in Chesapeake. They specialize in U.S. and silver and gold coins and provide free verbal offers and are always buying U.S. rare coins. Newcastle Coins and Collectibles, 681 North Battlefield Boulevard in Chesapeake, across from Chesapeake General, open Tuesday through Saturday and always online at newcastlecollectibles.com. Call 757-609-3633, 757-609-3633 for Newcastle Coins and Collectibles.
Nor'easter season is here, so don't get all wet.
Protect your house. Call Crawl Space Door Systems at 363-0005. Reduce your flood insurance, reduce the threat of mold and insects, and save energy. Crawl Space Doors, air vents, flood vents, vent covers, and fans can help you stay dry or get you dry quickly. Contact Crawl Space Doors for more information at 363-0005 or online at crawlspacedores.com. Stay dry, my friends.
Now back to Greg Bicouvaris and Sports Scene in the Hampton Roads Online Mall.com studio. It's now time for Greg's Highlights, presented by Hampton Roads Online Mall.com Marketplace Pages.
And thank you, Ken Johnson. Also want to thank the Philly Shack, the best cheesesteaks in town, in the Denby section of Newport News at 12842 Jefferson Avenue, 369-0900. Go by and see Mia and the friendly staff. Call ahead for takeout orders as well. Delicious cheesesteaks, Reubens as well, chicken fingers, wings, hoagies, burgers, pizza, club sandwiches. They got it all. Drinks, appetizers, salads, chili. Of course, I mentioned this for 10% off. You got to eat somewhere, folks. Go by the Philly Shack right there on Jefferson Avenue, right there at 12842 Jefferson Avenue. Go by and see Mia and get some lunch or dinner today. The Philly Shack. You can see their link on HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com. Click Marketplace 6. It'll take you to their website for the Philly Shack. Go by and say hello to Mia. Of course, also for sports highlights right here at GJBTV.com. Hit the YouTube link for archive shows. Shop on the Marketplace sponsors. Save the date every Wednesday from 12 to 1 for this show, Sports Scene. Business Spotlight scenes coming up, always a lot of fun. What Tees Me Off. Sports highlights on NNPSTV.com. And great guests like always. NBA Finals going on. Cleveland up 2-1. NHL as well as Major League Baseball really heating up. My former colleague of the game. We've had him on here several times. Let's welcome Coach Merrill. How are you, Coach?
Greg, great to be with you, and I'm hungry. That's what I'm after hearing that menu at the Philly Shack. I'm on my way.
You need to go to the Philly Shack there. You need to go to the Philly Shack. Good stuff there as well. First of all, let's get right into it. Your Cleveland team, is it going to be? I mean, everything is on the table right here, Coach. They're up 2-1. They won 96-91, and people don't realize not only do they not have Love or Irving, they don't have Varejao either. This is unbelievable.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. The one thing that I used to say all the time on the radio, and I used to say to you all the time, is the number one ingredient to success is chemistry. And right now the Cavs have that, and that's a very difficult thing to be. I know a lot of people, they throw that out. How many times you watch SportsCenter or one of these Fox shows, and what does everybody always say? They're out of Varejao, they're gone with Love, they don't have Irving, they don't have the pieces. I was hard-pressed before last night to find any of these so-called experts to say that Cleveland had a chance. Couldn't find anybody that would say that, and yet they won. So how do you make sense out of that? It's what I've been telling you. They've got chemistry right now. Everybody's clicking. And you know what? Somebody forgot to tell Tristan Thompson, Del Villanueva. No, they forgot to tell him that they can't play because they're not buying it. Look at what they're doing right now. 20 points last night that he had, diving for balls. You know what? And this isn't heart. People always say, well, they've got heart. Right? This isn't heart. This is chemistry. Everybody's firing on the same page. That's why they're successful right now.
Yeah, and not to mention, too, look at the beginning of the season. Just like any new operation, Coach Blatt was brand new. Irving and LeBron didn't see eye to eye. They talked about Love. Of course, it's brand new chemistry, and that 2-week break that LeBron took seemed the best in the world, but people during the fall and the winter were saying, oh, his body language seems off. Well, guess what? He's older now, 82 games, tons of playoffs, tons of mileage. It's paying dividends now.
Yeah, well, he's not going to go out there anymore. Those days of LeBron just showing you what he can do in November, December, and January, even February, those are kind of gone. He's going to coast through that. I do think there was something to some of that body language in regard to that chemistry, at least at that time, though, Greg. I do think there was something to that. And LeBron would tell you, and he's been asked, can you put your finger on the exact time where everything turned around? He said they were on a West Coast trip, and Coach Blatt said, screw it, let's go bowling. And they went and did that. They did a lot of screwing around. And he said, for whatever reason, it happened. During that trip, everybody got on the same page. I've been a part of that. As you know, I coached baseball for 20 years. We had some very successful teams, and I know exactly what he's talking about. These things you can't plan. They just kind of happen. And I'll tell you, ever since then, they've been all on the same page. So there is something to his language, and I was very critical of LeBron earlier in that I thought he went to the Cleveland camp thinking, hey, I've been to the finals the last 4 times. I've got 2 rings. Everybody in the world says I'm king, and therefore do what I say because I told you to do it. And I think there was some of that. Not everybody was getting that. Then all of a sudden, about halfway through the season, as you already pointed out, everything started to change. And I think LeBron said, you know what, I can't talk it anymore. I've got to start showing these guys why people call me the king. And ever since then, I think they've respected him more. Everybody's been on the same page, and I think that's why they're being successful now.
Yeah, it could definitely be. And, of course, then you're going to see the critics probably saying if they win the championship, oh, this Golden State team was not as good as, like, Larry Bird's Celtics teams or Kareem's Lakers teams. They're just an average team themselves.
Eras.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't really compare it.
I don't put a lot into comparisons when you're talking about different eras. Games weren't officiated the same way either. I remember back in Bird and Magic and Jordan's day, you could have that forearm on their back. You can't do that now. No, everything is geared for the score. And, very inconsistent officiating. And I don't typically like to get on officiating because throughout the course of a game, it typically goes back and forth. So, I don't really get into that. But getting back real quick to the other thing with LeBron and that chemistry, and then I'll drop it. The other thing that bothered me a little bit was I got a little tired of it seemed like we were still friends with Dwayne Wade and you can be friends, but it's time to start building new memories with the people that you have around you, and I think he's done that. It has done that as well.
Absolutely. So we look forward to that, of course. But, the table is set for Cleveland to get some type of championship. All right. Well, speaking of championship. Yeah, I know. Well, especially if they go up 3-1, Coach. That'll be really, then it'll be tough. If they lose that'll be really difficult, like you said. Yeah. Well, we did see a Triple Crown in horse racing finally. That was nice to see.
Yeah, 37 years, if I'm not mistaken. 37 years in between Triple Crowns. Listen, I think it's great for horse racing. There's been more talk about it since the Triple Crown winner than there had been before. And I'm speaking from a non-horse racing fan. I always pay attention to those 3 races, but throughout the course of my life, let's be honest, that's about all I've paid attention to. Now, I know there are folks out there that are just diehard horse racing
Sure.
folks, and I get all that. But I think it's good for the sport that we finally had one, and then I think that can translate into a little bit more interest.
Yeah, I remember you and I did a remote in 2013, one of the last remotes we did. We talked to the Colonial Downs guy. Now they're out of business.
Right.
So it's really,
Yeah.
I mean, they're not even relevant in Virginia at all.
Yeah, I think, part of it, too, is you got a lot of horse racing gamblers. People like to wage on that stuff. And you go into certain sports bars and you'll see the horse racing, booths set up where you can bet on games. Well, as soon as Colonial Downs went out, there was a few places that the state came and got those machines out of there. I think that was a mistake. I don't think that helped the horse racing fan, because it wasn't that you could just race or bet on races that took place at Colonial Downs. You could do it with races across the country. So I think if horse racing is going to survive, I think you need there's a little bit of a policy change that has got to take place to get those machines back in the bars without a local horse track open.
Right, I agree totally, because they are a lot of fun. Well, let's switch gears. You never talked a whole lot of baseball in your show. Even during the summer, you pretty much talked a lot of NBA and football, even though you were a baseball guy through and through.
Right.
But right now, look at this, Doug. The Yankees are in first place without Jeter, without any controversy.
Right.
And, of course, they just got some normal guys on their team. Nothing dynamite. Of course, they got A-Rod. The Orioles are struggling. You see the Royals doing well. The Astros have excelled in the American League. The Mets, of all teams, are doing pretty good, and the similar teams with the Cardinals and the Dodgers. What are your thoughts so far heading into the All-Star break?
Well, there's a couple of points that I would make. The first thing is I think the baseball season is too long.
Sure.
I think that really hurts baseball, because when you start spring training, pitchers and catchers in February, and then you don't crown a champion until October or even almost into November, that's too long. You can't hold people's interest, not a serious sports fan anyway. What ends up happening is you get families that go to ballparks because we're going to the ballpark, and that's just part of American tradition. And that's fine. But if you want to talk about baseball in regards to people following that, and I'm really following that as a sports fan, you got to shorten that season. The second point that I would make is in regards to the Yankees. You mentioned that they're doing that without Jeter, they do it without Pettit, they're doing it without some of those people that have been there a long time. You get stuck in the mud, Greg. As you know, people need to change things up from time to time. When you're doing the same thing for so long, and Jeter been there, 18, 19 years, something of that nature?
Long time.
I hate to say this to folks, but you need to shake things up. The locker room, the mood, the organization,
Sure.
Everything gets into a monotone, just business as usual. You bring A-Rod back, Jeter's gone, some other new players. Hey, you have one of these payrolls, not because you don't know that these guys can't play, but they were never able to have a voice when you had Jeter's voice there. Now, Yankee fans, they're hating this. They're going, oh, my God, he's going after the captain. Good Lord. I'm not going after the captain. I'm stating facts. This isn't about the Yankees. This is about life. Think about what you do. If you've done it for too long, it's time to shake it up. And the Yankees shook it up, and now here we go. And as far as A-Rod's concerned, this guy, it's not about proving anything to anybody. Number one, this is the biggest check he's ever going to cash again. But right now, he's playing so well, the Yankees almost don't suggest to me that they might be scratching their head in their butt thinking, oh, my God, we got to give this guy another contract. Are they, Greg?
It's amazing.
He's playing. He deserves one.
And speaking of baseball, how about Virginia's baseball team?
Excellent. I love college baseball. Don't you love college baseball?
This time of the year,
This
yes.
time of year?
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't get any better than now. You talk about a true baseball fan. It doesn't get any better than college baseball in June.
Absolutely. Coach, all the best, my friend. We'll talk to you again soon. Always enjoy hearing you.
Greg, it's always my pleasure. Good luck to you, and hello to all the old fans that used to tune in.
And plug your Twitter handle. You haven't been as active on Twitter lately.
Yeah, I'm getting back after it. We're working on a couple things, but if you'd like to follow me, it's at Coach D Merrill. At Coach D Merrill. Give me a shout and pay attention. I'd love to interact with you again. That'd be great.
Very good, Coach. Stay cool.
Have a good one.
You too. All right, Coach Merrill right there. Used to work with him at the game. Greg Bick on Twitter, Sports Highlight, GJB TV, HR One-Line, Mall.com. Again, thank you to me, CasitaMexican.com, Zaxby's.com, indescribably good for over 25 years, and BlueSushiCafe.com. Stay tuned. We'll be back on Sports Scene on 1650 on the radio, tunein.com, type in WHKT, subscribe for free right there. Type in WHKT on tunein.com.
Discover what the locals already know. Quality comfort food and a pleasant atmosphere at the Hilton Tavern in Newport News. Open daily for lunch and dinner. They showcase the best burgers in town. Philly steak sandwich, crab cake, wing, pulled pork barbecue, brisket, salads, and much, much more. They handle catering, banquets, and special events. Hilton Tavern is on Facebook. Call 599-9888 and visit them at 10184 Warwick Boulevard in the Hilton section in Newport News.
Active Computers and Electronics in Chesapeake handles it all and then some. They can fix your laptop, take care of motherboards, fix DC jacks, broken LCD screens, replace damaged plastic, and hinge replacement. They also handle viruses, slow computers, hard drive data recovery, battery replacement, can back up data, and upgrade memory. Call 485-8878 and visit Active Computers and Electronics at 2973 South Military Highway in Chesapeake today.
For over 25 years, people have counted on one name for all their residential and commercial moving needs. A friendly and affordable mover. No job is too big or too small, and they will assist you with your best interest in mind. Always providing free estimates, a friendly and affordable mover is a company you can count on. Have peace of mind on your next move with a friendly and affordable mover. Call 689-0935 or log on to lovemymover.com.
Nor'easter season is here, so don't get all wet.
Protect your house. Call Crawl Space Door Systems at 363-0005. Reduce your flood insurance, reduce the threat of mold and insects, and save energy. Crawl Space Doors, air vents, flood vents, vent covers, and fans can help you stay dry or get you dry quickly. Contact Crawl Space Doors for more information at 363-0005 or online at crawlspacedores.com. Stay dry, my friends.
The place for authentic Indian food is the India Palace. They feature authentic Indian cuisine, have a party hall, and do catering and banquets. Open daily for lunch and dinner, they showcase an excellent lunch buffet at their Chesapeake and Virginia Beach locations. Visit their two locations at 1437 Sam's Drive in Chesapeake off of Battlefield Boulevard and 5600 Virginia Beach Boulevard in Virginia Beach, and online at IndiaPalaceVB.com. On Facebook, look for India Palace Virginia Beach and India Palace Bar and Grill. Dine at the India Palace today.
The place to go for U.S. rare coins is Newcastle Coins and Collectibles in Chesapeake. They specialize in U.S. and silver and gold coins and provide free verbal offers and are always buying U.S. rare coins. Newcastle Coins and Collectibles, 681 North Battlefield Boulevard in Chesapeake, across from Chesapeake General, open Tuesday through Saturday and always online at NewcastleCollectibles.com. Call 757-609-3633, 757-609-3633 for Newcastle Coins and Collectibles. Now back to Greg Bicouvaris and Sports Scene in the Hampton Roads Online Mall.com studio.
I knew my rent was gonna be laid about a week ago. I worked my ass off, but I still can't pay it though. But I got just enough to get off in this club and have me a good time before my time is up. Hey, let's get it now.
All right, thank you very much, Ken Johnson. Don't forget the Virginia Pork Festival is going on in Emporia after 3 o'clock today. That sounds like a lot of fun in the country out there in Virginia, but just watch your speed limit on 58. Hope you enjoy Dr. Wood Selig from Old Dominion in the first half hour, Coach Merrill as well. Now let's welcome Brenda Van Dorn on, a regular right here on Sports Scene. How are you on this Wednesday, Brenda?
I'm doing awesome, Greg. Thanks for asking.
Well, very good, very good. Tell us all about your business.
Well, what we do is we do custom T-shirts for any kind of event that you might have, whether it's your company or camp skis or reunions, you name it, we can do it.
We'll talk about High Tide, where it's located at, as well as a Facebook mention and website.
Okay. We're on 545 South Bird Neck Road, right in Virginia Beach. Phone number is 757-627-8337. We have a Facebook page at High Tide Screen Printing, so please like us on there. Mm-hmm. And the website is hightidetees.com.
And there's really something for everyone, really. I mean, this time of year is a lot of fun with T-shirts.
Oh, my gosh. This time of year you can do T-shirts and tanks. Just about everyone knows someone ordering custom T-shirts. Rec associations, all their sports teams, they all need shirts for all their little ones running around on the teams. Even though schools are getting ready to to get out for the summer, they're already starting to gear up and thinking about the clubs and all. So we can do, club T-shirts for Powder Puff and all.
Yeah, give us your phone number and your website one more time.
Okay, it's 757, of course, 627-8337, and the website is hightidetees.com.
And what are your hours?
We own the place, so our hours are ongoing. But normally we say maybe 10 to 6 or 7. Sometimes they're 8 or 9 o'clock. But you can catch us on the phone anytime.
Very good, very good. Well, great place is High Tide, and go by and see Brenda and their family owned and operated. They'll take good care of you. Brenda, enjoy the rest of your Wednesday.
Thank you, Greg. You too, and to all your listeners.
Thank you so much. Always a pleasure. Ken, let's get to what teased me off.
What Tees You Off? Presented by GJBTV.com.
Thank you, Brenda Van Dorn, right there. Speeding in parking lots, Ken. Really? Speeding is bad enough, but in parking lots, too?
It drives me crazy. One of the worst places is the BJ's parking lot over by the gas pumps on Virginia Beach Boulevard. People use that cut-through behind BJ's to come from the neighborhood behind it to get to the boulevard, and they just fly through there, and usually diagonally instead of through the lot.
And not to mention, we interviewed Chris Green here on this show and also Sports Highlights. He's a through hiker who hiked half the Appalachian Trail. It seems like going to a Walmart, getting out of their parking lot is like the Appalachian Trail. My God. People who block your exit when you're trying to leave a bank, even in walking in person, please don't hang out and loiter by the doors.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like people on the elevators. You have to let the people get off before you can get on the elevator.
Take it easy. Take a deep breath. Coupons that require you to buy a large drink. Really? I mean, these are like these 32-ounce drinks. People who run events can and say from like 9 or 10 years ago and say, well, we used to do it this way and I made this event.
Oh, gee. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I made the United Way Day of Caring, but you don't see me harping all over what they do with it.
Debbie Downers, you know who they are, Ken, men and women both. Always the Debbie Downers. Rain for more than 2 days in a row. That's more than enough.
Yeah, we're done with that.
Where's spring at? We still haven't had spring yet, and it's almost summer still.
Oh, we had a few days.
I know. Space on airplane seatings, unless it's first class. Late night starts for sporting events. I'm sorry, even David Letterman, as much as he was great, not many people on the East Coast watched him because it started after 11:30. Not enough exits or entrances for shopping centers, cramped spaces, dead air, and weatherman Ken who pretend to be radio talk show hosts. How's that for a laugh, Ken?
Or even former newspaper people who think they have some kind of career in broadcasting.
Oh yeah, exactly.
So
you know, or primaries in June, for God's sake. Anyway, want to thank our great guests as well, like always, Dr. Wood Selig, athletic director at Old Dominion, also Coach Doug Merrill, former radio host, as well as Brenda Van Dorn, talking about High Tide screen printing. Great sponsors as well, La Familia, as well as the Philly Shack in Newport News, Mi Casita, Zaxby's, and Blue Sushi. Thank you to Ken Johnson for taking care of all the great spots and producing the show as well. And don't forget, GJBTV.com. Hit the YouTube link for archive shows. Subscribe on TuneIn by typing WHKT to my show, Sports Scene. For Ken Johnson, I'm Greg Bicouvaris. Happy Wednesday. We'll talk to you soon.